Good morning. Welcome to Flat Earth Early Bird number 1641. I'm your host, Arwin. And before we start the show, please don't forget to share it on any platform you deem fit. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so you know when I'm going live, which is normally 1 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekdays and 2 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekend. And please also do support me through the PayPal and the Patreon. That would be much appreciated, and always use the support. And yeah, thanks Fiber Oats for the PayPal donation in the evening we were in the chat, so thanks for that. Right, the weather. Weather's great. It's kind of similar to yesterday. A little bit bigger clouds that provide some pleasant shade at times, because it is plenty hot. A bit of wind. Yeah, it's great. The weather's great. Plants are doing great. Especially like the basil is doing like really good. The second plant. Although I think it's like gonna start forming flowers, so I actually think I'm gonna need to harvest that soon. Make some spaghetti. And man, like the plants really do look good. Yes, being raised on the outside, like from the start, really does help. Versus just putting them in the kitchen like the other one started out there. By the way, like the flower stalks are having other flower offshoots. So like it's really into blooming. I've never seen like that happen before. It's funny. Right. Right. It is Saturday, the 24th of June, 2023. Temperature is 28 degrees Celsius. Oh, Jesus. Well, it says tomorrow it's going to be 32 degrees. Poof. And like fully sunny. Gonna be a hot Sunday, I guess. Better make sure that I go to bed early enough. Might be an interesting day to like kind of go around, maybe hang around parks and stuff. Get some shade under the trees. Because it's probably going to be like really cooking here. Where's everybody? Huh. Well, everybody got in like straight away at the beginning yesterday, but what the hell is that? What is Some kind of bug. Okay, that is either one of the largest mosquitoes I've ever seen, or it's just something that kind of looks like a mosquito. But I don't want it here. I'm gonna try to get that out of here. Hello, Fibroads, first in chat, good to see you. Oh, this is gonna be complicated. Wow. It really went and sat on the most hard to reach place in the room, pretty much. Like below, behind my monitor. Well, at least it's sitting still. Oh, well, it's sitting very still. Doesn't seem to give a shit. Come on. Come on, bro. Get on here. Jesus, this thing is huge. Like, what is this? Is that a mosquito? It's totally shaped like a mosquito, but I don't see like a thing on its face. Like the sucker. And like, my god, if this is a mosquito, that's fucking huge. Can you guys see that? Put it to the lighter part. Like here. Is that a mosquito? Dude. Yeah, webcam can pick it up. Anyway, you're out of here. Or yeah, or maybe a bit like a dragonfly, but it was like almost like a crossover between a small dragonfly and a mosquito. Kind of weird. But it did have like, I mean, dragonflies have like all those types have like bulging eyes. It didn't really have that. It really had a mosquito face, or it could have been some kind of hornet, like those really nasty type mosquitoes. It was kind of that, I don't know. Never seen one fly in here before. But it also didn't really seem interested in like biting. It was just trying to rest here. So, whatever. It's outside now. I can find another resting place. Anyway, how are you doing, Fibroads? You have great weather too? This webcam. Right, that's more like it. Right, I got a gusto. Ooh, nice and cold. Did I watch the homunculus? No, I didn't watch through it all. I'm kind of putting it in the background, but I definitely know it's there. And I have a suspicion there's a really weird story hidden in there, like a really weird Jesus interpretation things. Because I've heard of that before. I don't know if it's through the dark world, but I mean, like that sort of stuff, every time I bump into it, it's like this whole can of weird, surreal memories start to come back to me. And that happens all the time. So, but homunculus like makes me really not comfortable. So it's not a subject that I'm like really fascinated with in a positive way. It's creepy. But no, I haven't watched any further. Adam Meakin seemed to have watched through it all. And he already hinted that there's some really weird stuff in there, and yeah. Hey, antediluvian catharsis, Maximus Flatius. What do you think of that? Oh god. What do I think of him? Well, I don't really think that much of him. About him, I mean. But, yeah. Why do you ask? Being squashed with a book? What? I don't know what you're talking about, antediluvian catharsis. I know homunculus in a more direct sense through D&D. Dungeons & Dragons. Because it's in there too. And even in one of the classes that I rewrote. So I've actually, like, adapted it. Like, it's just really weird to see that there's, like, some actual real thing to it. And that's so freaky. It also makes me think that there is a potential that, like, homunculus could have been even created to be like fairies, right? For example, like, maybe homunculus is like a whole thing that is tied into a whole bunch of weird mystical sightings and weird creatures. Like, maybe leprechauns are actually originally homunculus, right? Fairies, and who knows what. So there's that to think about. He seems to develop as a flat earth leader and could undermine Nathan's Maximus Flatius. That's hilarious. Really? It's gonna undermine Nathan's show when, like, every argument in his repertoire is directly from flat earth debates. I don't think so. He might, like, try to instigate shit or something. Maybe drive a deeper wedge between the super pro Christians and the not so super pro Christians. Me and Adam, and some others perhaps. Right? But yeah, that's it. That's really all he can do. Is just fan the flames a bit. But I mean, it's not a very Christian thing to do, and it's not gonna hold up for very long. Hey, Richard G. So, yeah, Maximus Flatius, I wouldn't be worrying about it. Is a leader. Nathan isn't a leader. There is no leader. God is the leader. The truth is the leader. The information is the leader. Logic is the leader. God. Yeah. We simply hang around with and potentially listen to carefully those that are presenting that. Like, yeah. There's no real leadership. There's just recommendations, right? Nathan gives out a lot of recommendations, especially when it comes to what flat earthers should and should not be doing, because it would make us look like fools, etc., right? But that's not It's a recommendation. He doesn't have any kind of command power. It's not like, oh, Nathan says it, so literally you must do it, or what? Or nothing. But if you're really serious about this flat earth versus globe wizards struggle, then you just better well pay attention to what he says. Right? It's all voluntary. There's no real leadership. It's ridiculous. This is not a military hierarchy or something. Right? Yeah, I know. I know he says unkind things about me. Right. Well, that's just revealing him then. Right? It just reveals him to be a petty, chanting fundy. Because he's obviously heard about my remarks of pointing out certain logical inconsistencies within what are obviously his beliefs. And how, like, yeah, that's really cute. Oh, you believe in that, but oh, you're gonna hypocritically criticize people for not upholding logic and the scientific method correctly, and while you literally believe in something that contradicts itself. Yeah, book rules are set down. Revered person comes, prophet, and then you believe in chants that literally contradict all of that, the rules. Yeah, that hurts when somebody points that out. And you're going to be irrational about it because you're holding on because you're told that you have to believe. It's like an admission, like, yes, this doesn't make any sense. Just go with it. And if you're like, oh, high and mighty, like, oh, we're with logic, we got it right, you shouldn't double speak. Yeah, when you're pointed at how you are actually going with something that kind of does the same thing, that makes you very agitated. It makes you feel like a hypocrite, which it is. It is hypocritical. I mean, it could be worse in this frickin' religion, man. Like, a quarter of the world is, like, dragged along with it. So, I'm not gonna, like, say, like, oh, that's so weak of you. No, it's very typical. But it is what it is. And so he's gonna be very agitated and snidey and pokey and like, he's worthless. Yeah, but based on what? It's just his little demon acting out. Like, what is his legitimate criticism? Does he have any actual points of criticism that come with solutions that are actually viable? Does he have any lore about my internal workings, which I continually talk about? Yeah, so yeah, if you follow me a bit, you should already have something to work with in order to prove that you actually know anything about me in order to make criticisms about me. So what does he even know about me? It seems like he just doesn't understand anything about me at all. So, yeah. But I know it's irritating. Well, just be honest about it. It's his channel. He's doing it. He's the one that's creating irritation with people. Right now, of course, I may create some irritation here on my show, but you know I will go there. Made it very, very obvious. So, yeah, if those little details are holy and you can't get along with it, then this place is not for you. And you shouldn't be criticizing my show then either. except for like you just don't disagree with that and you think it's bad news, right? If you don't trust it, you think it's dangerous. Like those are honest concerns from that perspective that I would be like, yeah, okay, that's fair enough. For me, sometimes it feels a little bit risky because I'm not, well, I am sure about the logic, but I'm not sure about what this story is, what it actually is based on. It's like there's so much information lost, so many patterns and over patterns. And I'm worried I'm always testing like, what I'm doing, is it correct? Like, or is a God now actually getting pissed off? And as in the designer, like, is this a violation of my nature, of nature itself? That's, yeah, so that's what I try to feel it out. And sometimes I even get a bit unnerved by it afterward. Like, oh my God, did I roll that all out? I had that a bit yesterday because I was talking so much about dark things from my past. It got really close. I got so close that compared to previous times I mentioned it, I would then be like almost like stuttery and like just say one word and then immediately run away from that subject. Yesterday I just put things down and that was very unnerving for me afterward. I lost my train of thought. So anyway, yeah, maybe they want mini dramas. It does get things rolling. He is more of a community guy, like come in here and whatever and bicker and or no, don't bicker. To be fair, I don't provide that freedom to my chat. I just don't. It's like this place is not like a cafe where you just come rolling in. I mean, I proved that yesterday with a bunch of giggly sock accounts that pretended to be women. I don't believe it for a second. And I'm gonna be like, no, get the hell out of here. This is not a cafe where you can just come waltzing in and start blabbering about nonsense. Or superficial nonsense. So, hey, Adamican. Yeah, I appreciate that, Richard. Yeah, I do appreciate you guys sticking up for me. As long as you do it honestly, as long as you're not like trying to be a group about it. Because before you know it, they will start calling us a cult or something. They will say that I am a cult and that you guys are my cult followers. And Adam Meekin is, of course, the emissary. Right. Because, I don't know, there's certain demons out there that like in people, that I do not indulge. There are certain types of freedom that I simply refuse to give. Right? You can have that freedom on your own. But if you're here, you don't have that freedom. Grand Poobah would be nice. That's hilarious. If we're starting a cult. No, but we're not starting a cult, but well, we could start a cult if everybody gives me like €5 every day. Nah, it's just that would be hilarious. No. But no, but I think there will be a virtual cult, which is in a way kind of interesting if people are gonna like think that. Same happened to Owen Benjamin. People call him a cult all the time. Can you get a badge and a nice gown? Well, eventually, if everybody invests enough, yeah, then I could get you a badge and a nice gown. I mean, dude, I could make badges. I'm a goldsmith. Could actually be a real badge. Aprons and gowns. Okay, I'm getting really weird ideas now. I mean, if we're gonna become a cult and wear gowns or aprons or something, then part of the rules of our cult is that you also gotta wear elf ears. Can you imagine that? Oh, that would be hilarious. This is, yeah, exactly. So thank you for that. Match? No fanny packs. No way. Maybe we could get like a bag carrying donkey or something. Everybody could just have all their stuff riding on the donkey. Bird with big ears. Oh my god, LSG, that's atrocious. That's like as atrocious as like the elf ears from World of Warcraft, which was not the idea I had in mind. Yeah. Your land is available in Waco. Why? Why the hell would I go there? Yeah, talking about cults, and this was kind of weird. I was listening again to that channel with all that German folk type music and all that. And there was a song in there, I think it was Omnia, that was just straight out climate cult. Although they didn't talk about that details, but it was like, oh, we fight for the earth, we fight for the earth, we reject being a human. We fight for the earth. And it was kind of dumb too. I mean, Omnia has like really cool, they're good with their instruments, but their songs they get boring. Like every song, they always play it too long, and it's like halfway you're like, yeah, I get it, just move on. So Omnia is kind of cool, but they're also boring, and they have this weird climate cult thing. I have a suspicion that they might be taking money from Soros or something. Something like that. I mean, there is like like cultural foundations that are like influxing money in that sort of thing, and they do like want you to do programming, and I think they're part of that. It's very shameful, really. And I saw that like a video of that. It's like, dude, that's that reminded me, because I knew that before. It's just like, you like the atmosphere. I like a Renaissance fair and all these people like look like Celts and all this kind of stuff and music and bagpipes and the old instruments and just crushing it. Like, it feels great. I love that. But then it's like some of the things, like, there's a lot of really fucking stubborn, stupid people in there too. And programming. And that really pissed me off. Eventually. It made me, like, abandon that whole thing. Because it's like, no, people don't want to evolve. They don't want to spiritually... They, like, want to be complete outsiders. Like, too much. Like, I'm an outsider, but I'm, like, not that much. I'm not like, yeah, I reject all of civilization. No. Because if you do that, then you lose track, and that just means you're going to become prone from influences that are going to play into your agenda, and you just do it because it's like, it's sort of close to heart, because you have no oversight. You're contributing to basically Satan doing damage. And you probably don't even realize that, or if somebody tells you, then you're like, oh yeah, fuck Christ, you know, that's society. Literally like that. It's a shame. Be a cool character to go to one of those Renaissance fairs. Anti-Helios. That's hilarious, LSG. But to be fair, I don't think that the people there like give a shit. I have a really weird story concerning that, and I don't know what that was, whether that was real or whether it was like a Dark World flash moment or something. But when was it? 2006 or something. Yeah, it was very close around my mother's death. I went to a Renaissance fair with kind of dubious people. In retrospect. And like, I bumped into something like I thought I bumped into Mark Sargent there. But because he dressed like that. Like typical black with the hat. And he had like some weird maps on paper. And you like showed it around. And then I spotted that. I wanted to look into that. And then the guy that was with me, which is not supposed to be there, the Jesuit guy, which makes me feel that it was a Dark World vision, because that's not the guy who came with me to that festival. It's really weird that he was there. But he basically, like right in front of me, just beat him up. It's probably not Mark Sargent. If he got beat up where I was standing next to it, he would probably remember that. But it was freaky. I got really weird memories. And it's also weird because it's like, way before I got into these things. And that's why it's so strange. I would get glimpses of things that I didn't even know about yet. That is, I guess, what was so freaking fascinating about the Dark World experience, is that, like, you get to see things that you don't know about yet. And it would be like that every time. And it's even like that entire context. It's like, if I could have fully understood what was being shown to me in the Dark World visions, then they wouldn't have shown me that. I could feel it. And in that sense, yeah, it is real. Like dark world visions, they practically, mechanically seem to be like extra dimensional entities, demons, whatever, playing with me through the visions. Like, but they were definitely, like, what was guiding it was no angels, for sure. I guess it was like this whole temptation program on the other side to just make me abandon the subtle feelings, make me abandon God, basically, and just become a pure animal. Like, to be free, right? Because that's how they make it look. And that's how a lot of Satanists even feel like they're free. They think that God is in imprisonment. That these human subtleties and even like the experience of suffering and sorrow, that it's all just pointless torture. They don't believe in redemption from suffering. Right, but anyway, yeah, weird vision stuff in between that. But yeah, Renaissance fairs are great. And I like how a lot of women just dress up for that. Like, it's cute because it's not just models everywhere being, oh, I'm so trendy like this. No, it's also just regular women. Like, more like typical, maybe a little bit chubby, but nice, and obviously hard workers. Not they weren't poor. But that they also dress up all Renaissance or all older, like with basically furs and shit. And that's cool because I thought that was always really cool about it. Also because those not model type women are always so into that when they actually do that. So they're like more just they're enjoying life more when they do that, and that kind of rubs off on everybody, including myself, even if I don't know those people. So yeah, I've always liked Renaissance fairs. Yeah, Flatter Sage. Right, they want freedom from God. That's the core of Satanism. It's like freedom. Yeah, yeah. From what? Freedom from oppression? What kind of oppression? Like, basically, when you say freedom, you have to actually be much more specific because could it be freedom from common decency, freedom from logic, freedom from common sense, freedom from compassion, freedom from responsibility, freedom from God? There's all kinds of freedoms that are not good. Yet, Satanist wants it all. Woman in corset. Yeah. No, that's cool. Indeed. Can be a bit creepy sometimes. My ex was really good with it too, but she already had like that natural shape, so then it would be like kind of freaky almost. Really tight. But yeah, corsets can be interesting. Although I do think that some women just overdo it. It's not really super healthy. Those women usually have a lot more personality to. Yeah, indeed. I think about it. Yeah. It's actually all of the women I've been with, all of them except for my first two. No, wait. Yeah, first three. After that, well, that was logical because after my third girlfriend, which was to me really serious, I got into gothic stuff. And that's when I guess that I discovered Renaissance fairs as well. And after that, all my girlfriends have all been Renaissance fair people. Or people that like to go to that, including my ex. Women that like make clothing. I really like women that make clothing. Right, but yeah, a lot of Renaissance fair women have like this craft thing. And that's really cool about it too, is that especially through the reenactment sector, there's like a lot of interest for retro craft. Like old craft, like pre-electricity type crafting and all that. Sometimes they take it very far. But a lot of those people, men too, by the way, but women especially, like they get so fanatical about it. They get really like really skilled, and it's so impressive. Renaissance misreader. Yeah, it does. It's just that it, in general, people call that Renaissance fairs. Yeah, maybe I could go to one. I mean, there is like two Renaissance fairs that I know about here in the Netherlands. In July and August. The Elf Fantasy Fair, but that's like almost completely commercialized nowadays. What that was, and Castle Fest, which is like that's like very close too. That's like right next to Utrecht, in Castle the Haar. Can we have a poll who actually? Okay. Gets Dark World Visions. Well, Zaptepi, it's technically incorrect. I don't really get Dark World Visions that are new anymore. I get dreams, but when I say Dark World Visions, that was one gigantic experience that was drug induced and went throughout time, and that was like 20 years ago. Well, started 25 years ago, then probably rounded out 20 years ago. In a not too great way that I actually mentioned yesterday. I shared it with people that were complete psychopaths. And that was a big mistake, and probably took more skill and energy away from my being than any other thing that I've ever done. So it was probably, like, percentile-wise, the biggest mistake I've ever made. Also because the angle of approach, I was just so off in what I expected it to be as to what it actually was. Huge, monumental mistake. Like a total inverse judgment. Like, yeah. Nobody really addresses it. Yeah. Why would you? What do you expect? Everybody to immediately start blabbering about it? Someone had the same experience. Well, if they did, they probably wouldn't talk about it. It's actually quite crazy in that sense, because from what I was told about it through even like shaman people is that it's like really dangerous to talk about. I'm actually taking great personal risk in even mentioning it. But I'm an explorer, and I can do it. I can actually do that. And I don't want it to be all just for nothing. It has to exist with a purpose. And I'm making that purpose the exploration of it. And I don't even have to do anything. It's just me remembering it and figuring it out as it comes back to me. That's basically all I'm doing. Did you know that actually experiencing the actual dark world visions, which, by the way, it wasn't just one 80-year block non-stop. It was kind of spread around. There were things outside, or you could say echoes, where I saw other parts. Sometimes even like continuations, where in the big vision there were just endless amount of segments, and there would be one segment and play out and then move on to the next. And then way later, like half a year later or something, I would suddenly, during sleep, snap back into it and then experience the other half of that segment. That would happen. And that's how it's so weird, and that's how it feels like it is like unstuck in time because of all that. So I haven't really had any of that for a long time now. I mostly just have deja vu feelings and then a direct memory connection with the dark world visions. That's what I get now. Right? And there might be some other people out there that have had an experience like this, but there's a great likelihood that they will not be very eager to talk about it. Yeah, you know why? Because actually going through it when it happens was pretty horrific and really exposed. It was all like a terrible traumatic memory. It was all torturous. It's like that was the condition for that to happen or something. And I think it was all weirdly based on the effect that if you experience enough anguish, spiritual anguish, that you will, like a defense mechanism, instant distraction, start to hallucinate. Now that is a pretty basic process. Hallucinations that come out of that tend to be just distracting to snap you out of it. But in this case, it's like that effect was bound. It wouldn't do that. It instead was bound to one uniform picture. The dark world vision. Huge. Throughout time. It's like my entire life is in that picture into the future. And the way I tapped into that is really bizarre. Like irregular. Sometimes get to see things about the future that haven't even happened yet. And then I would know that, and then despite knowing that, I couldn't reach out and remember it. I just got like an announcement from the future, but I couldn't take anything from it, like Cassandra complex. Do I believe Satan is a real person? No. is a real force. Yeah? Force of lies. The spirit. Lies, treason, cowardice, fear, hatred. But all of it petty. The whole thing about it would be in one word defined as petty. Everything about Satan is petty and weak, and everybody that uses him always becomes weaker for it in ways. Is Lucifer something different? Yeah. But people overgeneralize everything. Right? So it kind of depends on from which tradition you're approaching it. Right? Are you approaching it Catholic? Are you approaching it Rudolf Steiner? Or are you going to go to like the really old esoteric traditions, Gnostic? Like there's so many ways to approach all of that. Right? Theosophist. So yeah, I regard Lucifer as you have Lucifer and Ahriman. They would both be considered Satan, though it's like the two faces of Satan, you could call it. But they're just forces. They're a frequency. They're an influence, an effect that keeps returning. It's part of the design of this reality. It's part of the set challenges that we are forced to face as part of existence. Lucifer, the tempter, seduction, lust, self-aggrandizement, megalomania, and also like arrogance, self-aggrandizement, all those things, right? And it leads to the fall, and that's Ahriman. That's like the real dark side. Ahriman is death. Ahriman is like hollowness, roboticization, demoralization. Like the Borg is very Ahrimanic. Like beings, they're reduced, they're encaged, and they become part of a swarm, a collective. They lose their individuality. Those are all factors of Ahriman. Losing yourself, losing your individuality, losing your connection to God, dying, actual death, actual degeneration, oversimplification, roboticization, slavery is Ahrimanic. Now, Lucifer is all those other things. Lucifer is the shine. Lucifer is the shine of the gold. Is the thing that just gets you just away from God. Like it's like this little thing, you know. It's like I could do that. Yeah. And then you get stuck, and then eventually you disconnect from God, like palpably, and then you slip down to Ahriman. And that always happens. It's described by Rudolf Steiner. So Lucifer, Ahriman, you could say they're the right hand and the left hand of Satan. But it's all esoteric. Nothing is literal about it. There's no being. There's no provable extra-dimensional entity that is that in that setup. It's purely esoteric. But if you approach it through the Catholic approach, well, they definitely ascribe actual extra-dimensional entities and say it is like originally the fallen angels, etc. So there's entities. And then from that perspective, yeah, there are actual demons, like Lilith, like Asmodeus, like Diablo, like all. And those are like the demon lords of Satan. And they involve themselves with people. They all want specific type of things. They have a different type of sacrifice that they want, different type of corruption that they like to inflict when you let them in. And it's all in demonology, right? But that's a very different system from Rudolf Steiner approach, which is purely esoteric. It's all like frequencies and forces and influences. They don't ascribe a unique entity to that. Huh? Okay, Tara, that's bizarre. Adding a dream, a fractal dream, a dream within a dream. Did you start to hear the music in the background? Forget the name. Damn it, what's the name again? Inception, right? Did you get the Inception music? Tarot? But that is pretty cool when you can like wake up in a dream and still be in a dream and know that and then take control. It's like a reset almost. It's like you're dreaming and like, it's so fucked up. Reset. But then you don't just sink back in it. No, you're now from an aware perspective. Like, no, I am dreaming. And I just reset. I have control over this dream. And suddenly you have a more controlled dream. Yeah, that's, well, good on you. Yeah. You didn't hear any music like this. Yeah, well, that would probably given it away a bit. But I thought maybe when you realize, like, wait, this is a dream, and you continue dreaming, then there's a chance if you like that there could be some music that start to play. Because it's like, okay, he realizes now what's happening. Let's just play the music. Oof. It's hot in here. Yeah, that's a good point, Television. Yeah, it usually does. Because I have those types of dreams too. I had it a lot like around my 20s. I felt there was so much I was missing out on. Diabolos in Greek means slander. Interesting. Kriavaktar. Yeah, oh, that sucks. Yeah, well, I guess you're not gonna take that advice were that scenario to present itself in real life, will you? I don't think you're gonna go with that time. I wouldn't. I mean, I would never, like, in a crowded place, separate myself from my bag. Never. It's like, yeah, you can put it above you. Like, no, I'll keep it on my lap with my hands around it. And then when I fall asleep, I have my hands around it. There's no fucking way that anybody's gonna take that bag. But yeah, I am a bit paranoid like that when I do public traveling. It's like, yeah, it's cute. Oh, so convenient. You don't have to. Yeah, I'll have it on my lap. Thank you. I don't care. I'm not letting go of this bag. Maybe why I got the yeah. Well, maybe it. Yeah, maybe you need to pay attention. Maybe it's like a pre-warning. It's like, hey, there could be some shady stuff happening. Be careful. Sounds like a warning dream. Never see strangers in a dream? What do you know? Yeah, that's something, LSG. But I have actually, like, especially with some women, I would like get up close and just a woman that I don't recognize, but it could be that I just never saw them up close or something. But it is pretty crazy that sometimes I can like really like lucid dream, like see so much detail, so high resolution when it is somebody that I really don't recognize. So I actually have had that. And the weirder thing is that once that dream is done and I wake up, I never can get more details than just basic contour, and like that super detail doesn't stay when I wake up. Right, but most of the time when there's not like a specific type of dream like that, because usually it is like fully centered around, it's almost like, hey, you might meet this woman that you would probably fall in love with. It's weird. But a lot of the times I haven't then actually bumped into that woman. I think that my ex might have been like the exception. I think I did actually dream of meeting her before I did. But most of the time, yeah, it's like they're figures. The people don't really have faces. So it's because like the faces are not important, because they're not actually based on real people, just roughly. So they're like NPCs, and then sometimes they don't really have faces because you're not supposed to be wandering with your attention to them. Also, seeing people in your dreams that don't have faces may also be a symbol of a representation of a person that doesn't want to get involved. Think about it, right? It's like you're in a group and somebody brings up like a conspiracy subject, and there's just somebody that's just like there, like, I'm not talking about that. Like they just like put their mask on and they just let it all ramble and they just wait and maybe they'll go away. That's almost like they don't have a face. They just choose to not connect to that. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Lucid dreams are something you can master. Well, if the conditions are there, right? I think the lucid dreams are connected to your pineal gland, and it's like if there is a squirt, then lucid dream engages, and yes, you can control that, but only in the moment. It's not like you can just create lucid dreaming on a whim. Maybe when you're young, you can. And it would be like continual daydreaming, probably, like I did as a kid. But yeah, lucid dreaming, it is very fascinating to realize that, hey, this is a dream, and then it's like a holodeck experience. Like everything just gives light. Like the light is more bright. It's like, and it's so weird because like it could be in the middle of the night and you can just like see sunlight in lucid dreams and then even feel the heat of that sunlight on your skin. Like that's like one of the bigger mysteries to me. Like, how is that possible? How can you just feel the sunlight on the skin when you're in bed and it's in the middle of the night? Like, that's one of the more mysterious things. And sometimes I've even had it like in little versions, like waking, where I'm just like sort of daydreaming, and then suddenly it's like I have my eyes closed, and then like with my eyes closed, it's like this little portal right in front of me opens up, and there's sunlight coming through, and it can literally, I like suddenly get like that overwhelming bright, as like the sun suddenly hitting your face, that effect, and you like feel like there's literally sun coming through that hole, and it's like, is this another dimension that's opening up? Like, is there a garden on the other side? Is that paradise? That would happen. Especially when I was young. But it still happens sometimes. And it's really mysterious to me. Like, how is that suddenly, I'm in the dark and there's suddenly like sunlight. How is that possible? Like, how do the eye nerves, all that work with it? Because I'm using my virtual mind, like the thing that imagines things at that point, because that's what you do when you're dreaming or you're thinking about things. But how does suddenly that part become triggered, like as if the sun comes out of the clouds and hits you? What is that? What is that? I don't know what that is. It's really mystical. Yeah, light within us or from another dimension. It feels so mystical. It's almost like the light of original creation or something, or the light of paradise. My mother used to experience it too. We talked about it a couple of times when I was a teen. But it's so mysterious. Like, what is that? And every time it would happen, I'd be like really enthralled by it too. Like, wow, what was that? Like I touched something really magical. Is there a paradise on the other side there? Right, I used to associate it with the elves. When it first really started happening was in the time that my mother was reading me Lord of the Rings. And I felt like it was like the Undying Lands or something. Or that's kind of like what the idea that connected up with the experience. And so I was thinking like, am I an elf? Am I immortal? And like see that light coming over me, and it was just a combination fest of magic. Magical thinking through the book and that surreal experience combined. Sensory muscle memory. Your senses don't have muscles. But if you're saying that my senses are falsely given some kind of impression like something is happening, so it would be then the literal fooling of my own senses through some process. But what is that? damn it. I'm out of gusto. Love some more of that. Man, when it's so hot like this stuff is so great. That's what you meant? Okay. Yeah, I'd call it a sensory echo then, if that's what you claim. But, like, why? So is that like a flashback effect? Like the same thing that happens with post-traumatic stress flashbacks, except this is positive. So it's like a positive energy flashback. But what? Well, where does it come from then? And why is it that every time I have that, I always feel like a sense of paradise, of forgiveness, but also of like nostalgia? Of an experience before all experience or something. Then that's why I think that it might have been like paradise. Yeah, the pre-existence. Maybe it's a memory of pre-existence. I don't know. The same place as the dream? No. No, it's not an actual full holodeck-like experience. It don't go through the hole. It's just like a hole that opens up in front of my face. Sunlight comes through it. Sometimes even sounds. Sounds of birds and wind blowing and the smell of plants and flowers. But yeah, just all these things come out of nowhere. But the most remarkable is like the sensation, like literally sun is suddenly hitting your eyes and your skin, and you literally feel the warmth of the sun just on your skin, like what it does when that happens, even though it's not literally happening. And I don't like, that's the most mysterious part to me of it all. You must believe in dualism? We're like, what? No, said no. I don't need to do anything. Yeah, I'm not reversing it around. Yeah, the dream is not the real life. Life is the real life, and the dream is the dream. And in the dream, you find the things that you can't find in life. Lucid dreams, a skill that can be learned through cognitive. I don't know, Tarot, maybe. I don't know if it really has to do with cognitive. It's more like a consciousness training. There's not a lot of reason or intellect involved. It's just awareness and your senses, and not snapping out of it. It's like a controlled suspense of disbelief, and then you get a lot of control over it. Like the control just happens afterward, as soon as you let it be. Because if you don't let it be and you try to control it, then you snap out of it. That's what happens to most people when they don't know what it is. Yeah, television, great. I guess that's nerve memory then? Well, maybe it is nerve memory of sun hitting me. But that's cool then. I mean, if I feel really terrible, like really fucking terrible, I can literally like summon the sun. It's kind of handy because I think that even if I'd ever end up in some like dungeon in the dark, I could still, at least for a while, like summon the memory of the sun and like actually feel it shine on my face, even if I'm stuck in a dungeon for months. Yeah, not that I'm anticipating getting stuck in a dungeon for months or something, but in the past I did. I thought that was gonna end up really, really badly because of the types of people that I hung around with. Dreams are subconscious? No. Subconscious is subconscious. You can't have a subconscious dream because then you would not experience. The whole point about subconscious is that it's not conscious. A dream is not subconscious because you have conscious memory of it. It's not subconscious. It is your conscious. Subconscious is the thing about you that makes you know things, makes you have a plan without you being conscious about it. It's the person that you are underneath your consciousness, like alongside it. That's your subconscious. Dreams are not subconscious. You are conscious of your dreams. That's why you remember your dreams. It's a conscious experience. You're just not awake. It's not a waking experience. Are you conscious when you're sleeping? Is your conscious out? I mean, do you experience your dream? Or don't you? Yeah. If there's something and you feel like something happened, but you have no memory of it, you can't point it out, but you feel something happened, that's your subconscious. Because your consciousness was not involved. There's no memory connection. That's the trick, right? If you are conscious about something, it makes a record in your memory. If it doesn't, then it's subconscious. Right? So yeah, there's a difference between conscious and unconscious and sleeping and waking. They're not the same. Yeah, you can be sleeping and just wake up the next day without, like, nothing happened. That's like, then you were not conscious. The subconscious did things, perhaps, but your conscious did not experience it. So you were not conscious during that sleep. There was no waking, there was no dream. Is that record of it an electro? No. I don't see it like that. No, the memory is not in the brain, right, Yuji? The whole conscious and the spirit and even the activity in the brain, that's all side effects, because your consciousness and your memory, all those things exist outside of the brain. The brain is merely the relay station that, like, yeah, it's secondary, right? People can have the part of their brain that is officially known as the memory center completely wiped out, like destroyed, and they can still have memories. because memories are not in the flesh. They're not in the gray matter. The gray matter is merely a relay station. It's like administration for the physical and for muscle memory and things, right? For the subconscious to be able to do things. But the conscious and the memory within it, they're not physically stored like that. They're stored in a like a fractal energy pattern or something that is outside of the flesh. Right? And if you destroy the memory center, then that will just distract you. It will make it hard to assimilate new memory. But all the memory you got is still there because it's not in the flesh. It's in the spirit. Memory is in the spirit. It's part of your conscious. You could say your consciousness is your memory, or is rather the sub-pattern with your memory. It's like your memory and what is being done with it. Like, how is the memory compacted and ordered throughout it all? But it is your spirit. What you are, what you've done, how you regarded and chose things is in your spirit and will be with you after death. Quite certain of it. It's also with you out of body. Yeah, if you have an out of body experience, guess what? Memory, it's all there. It's all there. Yeah, because the memory is not in the flesh. If you leave your body, you can still have your memory. Organ donations, suddenly memory not of their own. Yeah. Weird, right? But it's true, because the memory is in the spirit. If you're a medium, you're aware of this. Like, you can bump into ghosts or something of deceased people, and then they will share their memories of what they think happened with you. And then it's up to you to figure out, like, what's keeping them stuck there. Why can't they move on? I've been doing that for a while, like with a friend 2 decades ago. The memory is in the spirit. It's not in the flesh. And ghosts have their memory. They are their memory. See, the consciousness is the memory. By the ghost has the memories of what's keeping it there. It just is stuck. It lost its dynamic. It lost its will and footing. Right? But even disembodied spirits can lend energies from the living in order to get them unstuck. Right? And hey, there can be really fucked up evil spirits that can do more than that, and they will just try to leech off your spirit instead. And then you have to purge yourself of those. Right. Anyway. The point is, memory is not in the flesh. It's in the energy. It's in the spirit itself. Right? It's kind of interesting too, because, and this is gonna sound crazy, so I'm definitely not volunteering on this one, but it would be interesting to have some kind of testing where you would have, like, to see how far that effect goes. And I've heard a while back about these crazy thing like head transplants. So what if you transplanted a head on a body? Could the head regain the original memory of the original person whose head is lost? Right? Because people kind of tend to be like, oh, but the head, that is you. That's where so the head is going to be the main carrier of the spirit. But is that really true? Right? If you had a head transplant, would the body not eventually like override that transplanted head's consciousness? Yeah, and this is kind of why I feel like a mad scientist sometimes, because I ponder upon these things. Yeah, definitely not volunteering to test this one out. But it is worth considering. Alright, see you later. Television. Thanks for popping by. Dogs head over another for experience. Yes, I don't know. But I mean, it's really, but with dogs you can't really test that because, well, you could if you have like two dogs that are like really different in character. Then you could see like, okay, is the dog head? Is that gonna basically become the entire spirit stance of the new creature, or is it actually the body that's gonna overtake the head? Because it is basically more flesh and yeah. And it will have like the more very important places like the heart chakra, all these chakra centers, right? There's more chakras in the rest of the body than there is in your head, even though there's very important ones in the head. So I'm just wondering, will the spirit of the body overtake the head, or will the head overtake the body, the spirit of the body? Yeah. So if there's people doing those crazy head transplants out there, I'd be kind of curious about the data about these things, because of course those people probably don't really even care about that. But it's like, if they're going to be testing that, I'd be really curious about these types of readings. Like what actually happens. Besides, oh, they didn't die. Right? Ew. Dog heads. Oh, yeah, but that's so fucked up. Ew. Yuck. Yeah, that sounds terrible. Just those separated heads in jars. Ugh. Like in Futurama. Chakras in the gut. Yeah. Dude, your heart, your will, your lust and pleasure, your sense of dominance are all in your body. Russian scientist? Okay. Huh. Oh yeah, the old Soviets. Man. That is so messed up. I mean, that is so fucking messed up, dude. Ugh. Wow, they did actually succeed to reanimate it. In 1940. Wow, that's a long time ago. Creepy. Amazing. Creepy. That's really the word I'm looking for. Creepy. Chinese believe of spirits resides in your third eye? Maybe. Well, I think that your consciousness, because the thing is, also through Rudolf Steiner lore, the spirit is not in one place. The spirit is all throughout the body. The spirit is the energy part of all of it. But the consciousness is in the third eye. Like, it's literally there, right? I mean, your conscious experience is like a little window that's right around here. You know what's at the dead center of that? It's your pineal gland, yeah? The pineal gland is literally the window of the consciousness. Like, that's where your conscious experience emanates from. That's literally the eye. That's where you see it. That's where all this information that's processed in your eyes and the brain is then culminating. It's right there in that window, exactly around the pineal gland. That's where your consciousness, like the conscious experience itself is, but not the spirit. The spirit is all over your body. It's the energy that is actually making your body live. Without the spirit, you're dead. Or at least in stasis. Right. Right? But the thing is that theoretically, like, even if your consciousness is there, if you'd had another body that's like even a different body type, well, it would have to match in some ways, of course, to be able to graft that. You could literally start feeling like another person, like the person's consciousness of the original body would typically feel, because of the new body. And in that sense, the body can really alter the way your consciousness experiences its experience. And that's what I said, like, maybe the actual soul and all that, like, the body could potentially dominate the head. That your consciousness would automatically start to adapt and transform into a very similar type consciousness expression of the head of the original body. That was my argument. Right? So the actual linearity of the conscious would be the same. It would be the original same conscious with the same conscious window, but the way they manifest, like how they actually are, will start to resemble potentially the original body's head, their consciousness more. Like the way that they were is likely that the head would start to become like that and not like their original form with their original body. That's my idea about it, my curiosity, my question. Okay. They say sometimes your spirit will wander around your body if you don't have control over it and return it home. Yeah, it does, Flatter Sage. The spirit does wander around. But the spirit is not the consciousness, though. You could say that the spirit is like the body of the spirit body. They call it a spirit body for a reason. There's a spirit body. It's the thing that your body, your physical body, it's the thing that thrones it. It's the other body that's just there, adapted to make you be able to manifest. Right? The consciousness is just there to observe and to consider, but the spirit is there to basically have you manifest yourself through the physical. It's the energy that makes you do things. And yeah, apparently it can wander outside of your body and you can be like bounced out of your body by traumatic experiences, by shocking things, by unexpected trauma. And then I have to do my technique, basically, literally, yeah, say like get back in your body. I mean, I literally say that. It's part of it. It's like, yeah, how do I get all these components of my energy being back in my body? How do I undo the damage, the codes that are there preventing my spirit from getting back in the place it should be? Because the codes, that's kind of the word for the tags that are being left by dark influences or shock situations. Entities leave codes, and then you have to remove the codes, and then you can clean up the damage and fully integrate and unobstruct it with your body. And I use that technique, and I use it regularly. I use it every day, and it's like really necessary too. And since I've done that, I've also been able to manifest myself more thoroughly. Right? I expand upon these esoteric spirit details, sometimes even creepy stuff, much more now than I did, say, before 2023. Much more detail. It's because I can do that now. Because I use the technique. No, I didn't. You Mirin Bra. I have no idea what you're talking about. Alright, anyway guys, I hope you're enjoying the show. It's been going for a while. Why the hell did that make my computer go on like that? It's weird. Guys, are you still in there? Richard G, Slow-Mo Moonbuggy, Flatter Sage, Terra 306, Illis G. Hello? Ah. Yes, Terry, I watched till the end. Well, I just watched, I flicked through it, but I got it, that the dog survived that somehow. Really weird. Alright, so I got a weird title for today, and at least you're a minute behind. Okay. Which you'll go to. Yeah, thanks. Just scroll forward. What the fuck does that even mean? Okay, I was gonna ask, like, you have any idea what the hell he's talking about? Freemasonry. Yeah. Yeah, be careful. I mean, there's plenty of Freemasons that are actually like sort of Catholic type Christians. They're good people. They have common decency and they want to help. And then there's the Freemasons that are total Luciferians and they deal in all kinds of dangerous, creepy magics. It's really fucking dangerous. Yeah, they left a spying tag, probably. They left an eye, right, Gigi? But you can't remove that, though. It's just a little... It's like a little elemental. They just leave a little elemental behind so that if you suddenly go against them, that they can basically stop you in your tracks. It's creepy. Long gone. Okay, good. Because they don't stay forever. You can actually remove that. But I have suspicion that something like that happened with me too. where the Jesuit guy was actually able to leave an elemental so that he would literally know whatever I was going to do. That was scary. It's like there was something with me that was always like a spy, like, and he could basically like listen in or like even scroll back, like it was all being recorded, everything that I did and said, and he could just know if I was planning something. It's really freaky. Yeah, that's really scary because it feels like the devil is just there and in control. That's what it feels like. It's really scary. But you can remove that shit. Like, people even do this by accident, except they don't. They leave shit behind. It's like somebody's like getting in your face, and they leave a tag, right? A code, right? You can remove the codes. The codes are the connector to their spirit, the thing that's going to leech on you, burden you. Well, the Freemasons can basically take that one step further and use those codes to literally somehow interface with their spirit, with you, and experience your experiences. It's crazy. But it doesn't last forever, and you can remove it. But even if you don't remove it, it'll like eventually just fade away because the attention of those people fade away. It is attention based. And they usually only do it when they personally feel threatened by you, by your spirit. Like, they usually do it out of paranoia to make sure that somebody doesn't go after them. The God is that, yeah, flattered, but those are the Luciferians. Yeah, there's a distinct split off within Freemasonry. One is the Freemasons that really understand the biblical God and the rules, and even respect Christ. But I think the Freemasons don't see Christ literally as God. I'm not sure though. The non-Luciferians ones. But there are the Luciferian ones. It's like this exact opposite type of philosophy in the same secret group. Not so secret anymore, I guess. And they're just like straight out Satanists. They're like, no, we do the opposite. Like, we have to create ruckus. We have to do that. We have to like present challenges. We have to get on their nerves. We have to get in between their fingernails. Like, you have to do that. It's our duty, or things will stop. Things will stop rolling, and then the money will stop flowing. And that's the Luciferian Freemason philosophy. It's like we have to be evil in order to keep things under control. That's kind of where that goes. Yeah, and it's very dangerous to get involved with those people. Your spirit was threatening to them? Well, the thing is, if you were like, oh, there's something off about them, they might be a bit dark or something, but you're like, oh, I'm okay with that. Like, I can handle that. I'm good. That's the threatening part. Now, if you would have been like, oh, this is scary. Oh, then you wouldn't have been threatening to them because it's like, oh, that guy is afraid. He recognizes our power. And then you're not a threat. And then they're going to be like, oh, yeah, oh, I'm your cool big brother, dude. That's what they do. But if you're like, oh, that's interesting, but I don't do that, then it's like, oh, shit, he's not impressed. He's a threat. It's like that. Or at least that is what it was like in my experience. I don't know. It's all like 30 years ago and more. Yeah, it's pretty much 30 years ago. Because we did like have all kinds of people over the floor in my house for like religious study or something. And that included like a Freemason family. And they were like confessing in our home that they were actually Luciferian. And I asked them about it, and some were like, well, this is what I understood about it. What I just explained. Like, because I was trying to understand like how they thought, and they were like, yeah, no, sometimes you have to create evil to get things rolling, and like God doesn't actually punish you for that. But it does make people hate you. It's an interesting perspective. Not a perspective I'd like to normalize for myself, if you know what I mean. But I do have like a bit of I do have pokishness, and it is adjacent to that, right? I am the guy that's like gonna poke you once you feel like you're getting really comfortable. Oh, I'm finally in control. And then I'm like, look at that corruption. Oh, did you realize that entire thing you've been leaning on your entire life is actually kind of fucked? Well, I'm not creating something nasty as a challenge, but I'm definitely making people uncomfortable. But then again, that is what Christ was doing also. Confrontation. It's the confrontation part. And it's interesting and a bit creepy how the Luciferian Freemasons have basically kind of like used that concept and then took it farther and say like, let's just create the evil as a challenge and see if they overcome it. But it is technically, even according to the laws of God, it is taking it a step too far. But that's also because they insist, in that sense, they just reject God. And they say Lucifer is better. They do. When you reach the higher ranks in Freemasonry, you become Lucifer. Well, they invite you. It's like, yo, you want more power? Well, Luciferian, or we're keeping you out of the loop, right? And the people that don't do that, they are usually the more Christian, the more Christian Freemasons. They are the ones often like doing a lot of charity type work. While the Luciferians say, yeah, screw that. Let them do their good. We're going to do our little Luciferian shit. We're going to get meddling. We're going to fuck around and do weird experiments and shit. And manipulate politics. I'm going to make a guess. It's probably not a long stretch and say that this current political system with all the New World Order politicians, the cartel politicians, the WEF politicians, however you want to see them, those guys are all connected with Freemasonry, with the Luciferian Freemasonry. I guarantee it. They're all connected to that. So uniform about it. I mean, they all talk the same, they all have the same attitude, the same opinions. It is the attitude of power. And it is very Luciferian. Right. Anyway, I hope you guys have been enjoying the show. Yeah, 2 hours are almost over, but I could go on a little longer. It's finally cooling off a bit here. Right, but I am going to take a 2-minute break, though, so be right back. And I'm back. Power always comes with a hefty price. Yeah, your soul, your own opinions, your own longing, your own expression. That's the price. It's your soul. Yeah, the soul is basically like everything associated with your own identity, your ego, your personal longing and balance, your personal wanting, and thus also the will. Right? It's these chakras. It's that will. Heart, your will, that's part of your soul. So, yeah, selling your soul to power. That means you can't have those natural expressions and individuality any longer if you want to have that power. Because if you do that anyway, and you stray off the set path for you, that path to power, then you get ejected. So you literally sell your soul for that power. You have to relinquish those abilities of your soul just to have that power. And that's why they all are alike, and that's why they don't have their own opinions. They have the opinion of the swarm. Because the swarm is their soul now. They can't afford to have their own soul. It would get in the way of that power. And that's why they're all alike. Hive mind. Yeah, the swarm. I call it the swarm based on Shiva's analysis. He likes to call it the swarm. It's a very refined analogy. And it is like a hive. say that. Still haven't watched Shiva. Bro! Dude, Shiva's the next level, dude. If anybody out there is the next level, it's Shiva. I mean, that guy's like trying to transform so much for the good. Like to advance the actual understanding and technological application effectively could altogether, if fully implemented, like virtually upgrade the functionality of like the entire West and maybe the entire world like 200 years. Which is about damn time, because we've been kept back, held back so much into archaic 19th century systems. Like especially the medical system. And there have already been alternative routes like that. Like when he says like, oh, a combination machine, and it uses frequencies and all that, and to figure like a simulation of a cell and to figure out what's the right combination for what. That sounds kind of very similar to a resonance analysis machine that my dad actually has. It's originally a German technology where basically they submit you to very specific sounds, and then they can literally analyze in a surreal manner what's going on in your body to like real insane detail. It's like I don't understand how that's possible. Like I don't have a feel for it, but it works. He's used it on me. It's like frequency therapy. It's like it's literal Star Trek shit almost. It's like, oh, you have a machine, except it's not like it's glowing and it's regenerated. No, but like you feel things of your energy body just changing and shit and restoring. It's surreal. And it seems like Shiva is kind of approaching his system in a very similar way, adapting to all these super modern inventions that have gone completely under the radar into like, well, a cell simulator. So you don't need experiments on living beings in order to test things. It's incredible what he's achieved. And that's just one freaking thing, dude. I don't even have an oversight over everything he's done, because the guy's been at it his entire life. You could like make a study of all the things that he brought up. It could be quite the study. It could take you some time to get through all that. Anyway. So yeah, definitely recommend you check him out. He is on YouTube. Richard G. I can give you a link to his YouTube. Dude. Right. So here's his YouTube channel. Yeah, this is a video that even Owen Benjamin like used. I retweeted. He also tweeted this video. I retweeted that because it's really, if you want to start with a good video, then check this one out from 2 weeks ago. Let's see, is he gonna stream anytime? Live? Oh, he's done. Wait, he does everyday streams? What the hell? That guy's... Wow. I didn't know he did everyday streams. That's crazy. Well, it's not crazy. I do that too, but I mean, I didn't expect that. He does talk a lot about the same systems though, because they're really good. They're worth talking about. He's all about structure. Systems. Systems and the structure of it all. Nice guy, highly intelligent. Well, yeah, nice guy, but he's also just... He's not really he's a nice guy, but he's not like, oh, I'm so nice. No, he just talks shit. He just say fuck and all that. It's like, screw that. So he can be a bit foul-mouthed a bit, but it's kind of cool. It's okay. It's kind of funny about him. You wouldn't expect a guy that brilliant and like a doctor type to be so potty-mouthed, but he is. But also because he's just genuinely pissed off about those things, about the system. But yeah, Shiva is definitely a cool guy. Foul-mouthed works when it's authentic. Yeah, and it is. It's just a bit weird. It's like... It's almost a little bit out of place, but it is proper. It is fine. But it's just like a bit... I didn't expect that he would be like that. But he is. Right, anyway. I forget to say anything. I forget to talk about something. I brought up a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, there will be Ballbusters tonight, by the way. So I will be joining that. Sorry, I'm just reading stuff. It's like this whole hassle going on about David Icke being banned here, and he's fighting that. When I say here, I mean the Netherlands and other European countries. But it's like a whole hassle that's happening. And also apparently there's this weird little incident in Russia where this mercenary group suddenly seems to be claiming weird things about being stabbed in the back for no reason without really yielding proof, and then they're like trying to commit treason. It's weird. There's all kinds of weird little things happening all at the same time. Yeah, Wagner, exactly. You brought it up the second I brought it up. That's weird. Right. And it seems off. I mean, like, either they've been waiting to kind of do that, to actually be a traitor, or I'd be like, where is the actual footage of that blowing up? And where's the actual evidence? I haven't seen anything. It's just this guy just says, oh, we were attacked and now we're going to do something. And like, oh, where's the evidence? Like, could you show us? Like, the footage? Perhaps something, but nothing. No images, nothing. It's just that guy said that, and that's it. That's all I've seen about it. And it's weird that nobody even seems to be asking, like, where is the evidence for that? Yeah, Ukraine cucks go. Yeah, absolutely. They're all squirting like madmen now. They're like, oh, finally, we're gonna win. Oh, it's evil now. So they're jacking off in chats everywhere around the world. Oh, Putin's finally corruption coming to the forefront. Yeah, you're not gonna win. You're a fucking retard. Yeah. Your squirting's only depleting your balls. That is all. It's just, these people are so pathetic. These specific cucks are so pathetic. Like, they don't know what the fuck they're even talking about anymore. They're genuinely retarded. Those people don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're with something and being political about it, and they just don't know what they're saying. I do feel that maybe at some point there should be some like big internet gamma inquisition somehow, that people like that are stopped, that they're like identified as being a giant burden to society that only work to try and make everything worse. Right? And I don't know, you wouldn't even need to like degrade free speech or anything, avail free speech to do that. I think it could be attempted differently, just like through mental health. Like, you're provably not well in the mind, like provably, if you do that sort of stuff. Yeah. And they're all sick anyway. I mean, all those Ukrainian online cucks, I bet that none of them are Ukrainian. Almost nobody. I think they're all a bunch of stupid, weenie little cocky banker kids and shit in the West. Just politicians. Or their kids. Just really fucked up, petty people that do that. Because they think that that helps them when they don't realize it's like there's... Like, what, Ukraine? There's not gonna be anything left. It's not gonna turn around. Every time some new line is met, the Russians are just immediately crushing it all. It's like there's no fucking chance. All this screaming and whining, dude, it's over. Yeah, NATO, Europe, whatever, Ukraine, it's not going to win. No matter what. Even if supposed nukes start flying, they're still not gonna win. Yeah? You're not gonna win. You're not going to win. All you can do is make everybody lose more money because of this bullshit. That's the only thing you're doing. Yeah, you're sending military equipment and giant piles of money and flesh to the incinerator to be completely and utterly and permanently destroyed. That's all you're doing. You cannot win this. You can fucking kill yourself, though. And the world will be a better place for that. You could do that. But you cannot win over Russia like this. It's not going to happen. Right? And depending on how far this will go, there's a good chance there will be a Russian hunting team afterward. It's gonna hunt you down. Yeah? It's kind of like the anti-defamation shit, or the Anti-Defamation League is completely corrupt. But like how Israel sent out agents to hunt down Nazis. Yeah, you think they're not going to do this? Yeah, they are going to do that this time as well. Yeah? Except now will be Russians that do that. Yeah? And you think, Ukraine is going to win her secretly scrim. Yeah, keep doing that. Yeah? Keep doing that. Yeah? They have plenty of room in the gulag for you later. So keep doing that, fucking retard. Yeah. And since they will have some kind of shortage in labor because of all the losses, not that it's even that much, but yeah, it is losses, labor shortage, I'm sure that they'll find some use for you. Yeah, as you work in the gulag for reparations of all the damage you've done. And then you can be their labor forced. Yeah? So keep squirting about it. Keep squirting about how Putin is evil and corrupted and they're gonna lose and bullshit. Yeah? Get ready for the gulag so you can work for your reparations. Yeah? To pay for the shit that you've helped cause. Because you will pay for this shit. You understand? All these fucked up bankers in the West, all these crazy Nazi support, they will pay for this with reparations to Russia. Do you understand? You are going to pay for this to Russia. Do you understand? That is going to happen. And there's nothing you can do to avoid it. Even killing yourself won't help you avoid it because they will still take your money. Yeah? you're not a Ukrainian cock? The Nazi narrative, it doesn't make any sense though. How does that, what? I don't get it. But I mean, yeah. I don't understand how saying this Nazi narrative doesn't make any sense. It's gibberish. How does that make you a Ukrainian cuck that you would have to, like, preamble that you aren't one? I don't get it. You put down a double negative. It doesn't make any sense, classical homeopath. What even are Nazis? Yeah. Well, it's a cult. The Nazis are a cult. They are. And yeah, people do get into that. They get into it for whatever. But they are sort of, Nazis are kind of, they have become kind of like a mercenary cult that band together to a degree, not with loose loyalties, but at least loyalty when it comes to like anti-Nazis, then they will bind together. But other than that, yeah. I mean, there's certainly no bloodline thing really going on anymore. That's all gone to shit long ago. So now it's much more like a cult. Just an ideology. It's like, oh, you want to take control, you want to reject Christ, you want to just dominate and yeah, don't mind being hated. Well, you can become a Nazi, and then yeah, there's all kinds of Nazi politicians out there and sponsoring sources and corporations that will definitely give you money if you promise to fight in their future wars. And then if you refuse to actually fight when that happens, then they will come and hunt down and kill you. Not joking. Yeah? And yes, I think I've actually seen that happen. Yeah, because Nazis do lend you money, but it's really fucking dangerous. I mean, that's arguably more dangerous than like the average criminal mafia borrowing money from them. I don't know. I've personally never done that, by the way. Never. Thank God. They hijack Nazi ideology. It's being used to mean paramilitary right wing. Yeah, but that's retarded. Classical homeopath. It isn't. That's just a straight out lie. It's all lies. Yeah? They've created a straw man lie about Nazis saying they're right wing militant. It's not true. The Nazis were left wing militant, not right wing. It's a lie. It's a confusion projection attack. It's there to make you not realize that they are Nazis. Yeah, they attack a group that's obviously not Nazis, then claim that those aspects of that group is what makes a Nazi, to conceal that it isn't and that they are actually exactly in the position and all that to be considered Nazis. That's why they do it. It's a projection distortion attack. So people don't really understand consciously what Nazis are. That's why they do that. Man, I'm getting kind of hungry, by the way. So I think I'm gonna run out soon and get some lunch. Man, the show's been like really delving into different subjects. There's no way I can put that all in one title. So I'm just gonna leave the title as it is. Spirit mechanics, does the body actually dominate the head? I thought that was like a more curious and interesting subject. And I literally never thought of it before. Because before this, every time that sort of thing came up, I too would think, oh yeah, of course the body or the head will dominate the body. But then I thought, yeah, but what if that didn't actually happen? So it opened up this whole new vantage point in that information that I've never even considered before. So that was interesting and worth making the title of the show. Right. So any more for any more? Anything? Or am I gonna round out the show? I'll leave it up to you. Nope. Alright. Thanks everyone for coming. I hope you liked this show. If you did, then please don't forget to Rogans it up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so you know when I'm going live, which is normally 1 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekdays and 2 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekend. And please also do support me through the PayPal and the Patreon. They'll be much appreciated and I can always use the support. So please keep it coming. Right. So I'll be back tomorrow with Flat Earth Early Bird number 1642 on a Sunday, and I'm also gonna join the the Ballbuster show this evening over at Quantum Eraser channel. It should probably start up in about 4.5 hours from now, like 9 p.m. Amsterdam time, something like that. Right, I hope to see you all there, and yeah, have a really great weekend. And until the next video, keep it flat.